Let's see here. Good morning, welcome. Uh, Putting the backing track together. Let's fix this here. Let's mix that with another sound. Good morning, Shane. Okay, so you got an advantage on some folks. You got an advantage. Some people just getting up. Some folks are in their car driving, so they can't come in as fast as you can. So all good. Let's see if I can I'm gonna mute this. Get some piano going here. I can do it better. Now come on around. Let me know where you're watching from. Cool, we'll rock with that. Got some piano in there. Give me all the 6/8 job to work with. Let's see here. Mobile, Alabama, I see you. All right, let's get it going. I want to come up with a melody for this, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. Let me get some drums in here. Let me pull some drums, some scratch drums. Some scratch drums to pull this thing together. Let's see here. Thank y'all for the thumbs up. Louisville in the building. What's up, Corey? Philly in the building. What's going on, Charles? Everybody else is jumping on. All right, let me get some volume on these drums here. All right. It's coming together. I've been like in super creative mode this morning. Like my brain has been just, if any of y'all following me on Facebook, you saw I posted something just thanking God for creativity because I was working on one of the songs that's going to be coming out on my Dreams Work Reality Volume 2 or part two. Sorry, not volume 2, but part 2. And yeah, I'm excited. I don't know when it'll be out, so don't even ask me. Most of the record is finished. I'm just at this point. I'm going back and rethinking some things that I've done, and I really want to dig in a little more on some of the tunes. So that's kind of what's happening now. So yeah, it's gonna be good. I'll say that. I will say that it is definitely gonna be good. So if you haven't got part 1, be sure to grab part 1. But part 2 is gonna definitely be good. Missed the last few weeks. Glad to have you back, Floppy. All right, so let's get some drums going. Let me see here. We'll come up with something. We'll make it work. Y'all know how we do it every week. Let's see here. So let me know if you got a chance to practice or play with the backing track. I can't talk this morning. The backing track that I uploaded on last week, that we created on last week. Let me know if you got a chance to practice it. Is it cool? Y'all enjoying it? You find it difficult to navigate? Drop it in the comments, your thoughts concerning that track. For a feel. I can do it better. Took me a minute to catch the groove. See if that, I don't think that was it, but we'll try it again if it's not. What do you say, Charles says, what time do you normally get up? When we can catch you on Tuesdays, it seems like you've been at He said, you seem like you've been at it for a while. I have, man. I'm normally up when I get adequate sleep. My wake up time is normally 4:40. That's the time I know. Don't ask me why. It's random. I had 4:30, and for some reason that 4:30 was wearing me out. So I pushed it back 10 minutes as if that's making a huge difference. So I'm normally up at 4:30 by the time I get myself together. If I'm moving fast in the morning, I'm normally out here in the studio probably like 5:15, 5:20. Yeah, and if I'm moving slow, it's like 5:35, somewhere in there. So yeah, by the time I jump on here, I've been up for already several hours. So yeah, and I've been getting stuff going. So yeah, that's why I seem like I've been up for a while, because I have. So yeah. You know what I'm saying? It was cool. On my flute, I could keep up, but on my bass, that's a whole other story. Got you, man. Got you. All good. So let's get these drums again. We're pulling everything together. And anybody else that you've been working on that track that I uploaded last week, be sure to comment. Let me know your thoughts about it. I'm interested to hear how everybody's navigating through this stuff. I know that one was a little more difficult. It was in 7. If you're not used to playing odd time signatures, that could have been, a little bit. But that's the whole point of it. I want to stretch you guys that are following me. If this is not something you're comfortable with, something you're not used to, that's great. Because now you can be stretched, into something that you're not used to doing, which stretches you to think, stretches you to kind of be outside of the box a little bit. That's what it's all about, all right? So, let's see here. I can do it better. Let me get it. Let's see here. I can go back and edit all that. I can live with that. I'll go back and edit later. We're just trying to get foundation laid right now. So let's put some bass on this thing and pull it all together. And we'll add some other stuff as we go. See what we can get going with this bass this morning. Who else we got? Everybody is signed in. Peter, what's up, man? Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, so let's see here. Put some bass on it. If you are playing along for whatever random reason you up this early with your bass, I'm in the key of C sharp major. I'm starting on the 2. I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're literally going through the whole scale. So that's all it is. Literally one of the easiest bass lines that you will ever play, but well, it ain't the easiest. It's an easy bass line. Let's see here, because the easy ones are you just groove on the one, you don't move around. So good morning, Tanya, Music for Jesus. Thank you, I appreciate it. Tiffany, what's going on? She said put some bass on. Absolutely. All right, so here we go. Let's put some bass on it. I'm probably never going with my first take. That's just a warm-up to get me into it. Pull that volume down a little bit. It's cranking a little bit this morning. I had a gig this weekend, so I had my volume bumped up a little. All right, let's do it again. Sorry about that loud click. I need it. Let me see the comments. I saw you, Charles. Charles said, yo, the first take was hitting though. It wasn't, man. It was all right. Flavie said, that's what I thought. Yeah. You got to hear how I hear, I guess, because you know how we say we're our own worst critic. It wasn't bad, but I know it could be better. That's the point. And from what I'm going for, I was looking for something different. So, again, we'll say it wasn't bad. So I appreciate that. Thank you. You know, normally my first takes might be a little suspect, but you know, we're getting better. We're getting better at it. Let's see how that felt in the context of everything. off. It's cool, but it's like, okay, I gotta listen again. There's a running joke for people who have like really worked in the studio with me. People who worked a lot in the studio with me. One of my good friends, he's like, man, when Jay put the headphones on and he started listening to the same thing over and over again, you know you finna have to record it over. So, I don't know why that is. It's just a thing I do because I'm listening and I'm listening for something else, and I can't put my finger on what that something else is just yet. So I keep listening. But the joke is, if he keeps listening over and over again, you're probably gonna have to re-record it. So yeah. I'm not gonna trash it. I'm gonna keep it for now. We might go somewhere else. But that's foundation for now. So let's see what else we can add to it. Who else we have jumping on? Keep all the takes. Appreciate it, Melvin. Mastercraft, good morning to you. Thank you for that knockout. Was that Mizik? Is that how you say that? All right, so let's see. I'm going to keep that take. Just because y'all said so, I'm going to keep that take. That don't mean I won't re-record, but I'm going to keep that take. All right. There's something else we can add to. We can add to this. We're just having fun. We're creating. Haitian basis. All right. Got you. Got you. All right. So. Let's add some kalimba. Let's be a little random this morning. Add a little kalimba in there. Let's see here. I think I added that on another track. That's not it. Let's try that. See if we can put that in there. Should I go in the red? Yeah, I'm gonna go in the red. Cool. I recorded on my bass tape. All good. It's still there, I think. Yeah, it's still there. Good thing about Logic, you can choose which one you want to play. And let me take that record enablement off of there. Alright, I got y'all right quick, so here we go. Okay, I'm not hearing the melody like I want to hear it now. So let's do something about that. I'm going to use this. I'm going to stack two sounds. All right, I'm going to stack two sounds to get that melody coming through really good. And I might do a counter melody. I don't know yet. Let's find some type of lead synth sound. That's normally what I use when I'm creating melodies. I'm using, like, if you guys are working in something like Logic, I'm using a synthesizer, some type of lead synth to create the melody line, or to pull out the melody line. That's my way of kind of going about it. Not sure what everybody else does, but that's what I do. All right. So wait a minute. What's going on here? There we go. Leads. Let's find a lead. Nope. And you just go through the banks till you find something that you feel good about, you know? Basically something that really fits the song well. So with those two sounds, does that mix well? I'm not sold on that one. I'll come back. Let's see what those two sound like together. Alright, let's see what that feels like. We'll try it. If it don't work, we can change it. Cool. Let me turn it up so I can hear it a little better. Y'all still there? Y'all quiet? Let's do it again. Nice little pickup. I figure out where I started at. Bad part is trying to remember what you did. That's what we're doing. Let's see how that landed. Let's see what we got. Cool. We'll see if we want to add something else as we go. All right. Cape Town, South Africa. Okay. All right. Let me go back. All right. Charles says this track feels like perseverance. I get a very encouraging vibe from it. Sweet. That's nice, man. Thank you. When you actually record your album, do you have any other musician play with all the parts you create? Yes, I actually do. In my band, I have my keyboard player in my actual band, the Jermaine Morgan band, obviously. there, I have my keyboard player. I have another drummer. My one of my good, well, both of them are really really good friends that play on the records. And on my other albums, there are guest musicians all the time that come in and play. The thing about me, I produce. And what I mean by that, I don't necessarily, I can play all the instruments, but I'd rather bring somebody in, depending on what it is I'm creating and depending on the feel that I'm going for. If I want a little bit more embellishment on the song, I'll probably bring somebody in. What you hear me do in these lives is me just, we're creating in the moment. This is literally like going to the gym and playing basketball with a group of guys, or going to the track and running and exercising, working the gift, working the creativity, putting myself on this spot, allowing you guys to come in the world and see what I'm doing as well, because it keeps my ideas flowing. I seen a question, I didn't get a chance to read it all, something about the ideas. It's a muscle in terms of ideas and creativity. To be able to create on the spot, it's a muscle you have to work. Anybody that's musical, that has the ear to hear it, you can create it. Is it easy? At first, no, it's not at all. And it's easy to get writer's block a lot. As a creator, I do run into times that I have writer's block. As a matter of fact, one of my lives I done like a few months ago, I was like, hey y'all, I got nothing. Like, it was nothing. So it happens to everybody. So, but I will say, the more you do it, the more you work that muscle, the more you exercise, and even doing these tracks, the more I do it, the more easier sometimes it is that the ideas come and the ideas flow, because it's a muscle that I'm constantly working. But if you don't work that muscle, it's hard to get those ideas out. It's hard to make the creative process easy. And then the other thing about the creative process for me is the workflow. The workflow meaning the DAW, it was the digital audio workstation. Like, I think that's what that stands for. But the recording software that you're using, like, that can make or break your creativity. When I was using Pro Tools, no shade to Pro Tools, but I use a lot of virtual instruments when I create. And it was the version of Pro Tools that I had and the computer that I had, all of it wasn't working together. So I would always get the playback engine message that, it's overloading the playback engine, because Pro Tools favors more audio in terms of they rather you record like live instrumentation as opposed to using a whole bunch of, virtual stuff. So it wasn't as user friendly when it came to my virtual stuff. So it killed my creativity. By the time I get through doing all that stuff, the vibe is gone. So it for me, when I'm recording, it's all about the vibe. It's all about the moment. And if something is hindering that, you see how I'm like just finding the sound and going to it, and I hear something, I want to put some drums down real quick. I want to be able to do that. If my computer starts freezing up and all that stuff, it kills the energy. It kills the vibe. I don't want to do it anymore, and it's like I want to move on to something else, because now I'm getting frustrated. So, yeah, long answer to that question, but yeah, good morning, Vic. Let me go back here. What did I miss? I missed somebody. Okay. Floppy said, where do you get these ideas from? Do you wake up in the morning with it running around your head? Do you get inspired? Actually, I don't. It's rare. Floppy, it's rare that I have I ain't gonna say it's rare. It's not all the time that I have musical ideas like soon as I get up. It's random. Like the thing that I'm creating right now, it's coming to me, thank God, it's coming to me as I'm creating. And most of these lives, that's how it is. Either I get something like right before I go live, or I'm getting something while I'm on the live. And it's like, the biggest thing is leaving that creative window open so that you can like create while you're hearing it. And that ideas have come to me while I was driving or something like that, and I take my phone out and I start recording it so that I don't lose it, or while I'm just doing something random. My most creative place for ideas, unfortunately, is like in the shower. Like I hear stuff. It's not as much anymore, but I used to get a lot of song ideas like while I'm in the shower. So I jump out of the bathroom, drying off, trying to sing it to my phone so I don't forget it. But now it's like I said earlier, because I've been working that muscle, it's like I can kind of pull on that area and start getting stuff as I'm creating. And that's just how it works for me. Again, I can't stress enough that it's a muscle and you must use it. That's why I encourage you bass players to get some type of looper. Oh, I got some good news for those of you that's been keeping up. So you know I have been using a different looper because I thought my Jam Man had quit on me. It hasn't quit. And just for some of you guys that might be experiencing the same thing. And even my Spectra comp, I know my guy Steven was offering me his because my Spectra Drive by TC Electronic, I thought it had quit on me because it stopped working because I dropped it and it was plugged in and something happened and it fell and damaged the, I thought the input was damaged, but actually it's not. So both my pedals are sweet and it was only the power supply that needed replacing. I just simply replaced my power supply for my Digitech Jam Man stereo is the looper that I normally use for my bass. And then again, it's Spectra Drive by TC Electronic. It's a compressor, bass preamp, and an overdrive or whatever for the bass. And I use those two pedals like on a regular. So when I found that it was still working, I was like, it was perfect because I had a gig this weekend and I was able to pull my stuff out and use it. So yeah. All right. Thank you everybody that said you truly enjoying. I really appreciate that. So we got South Africa, Johannesburg. Nice. Knoxville is in the building. What's going on, Fred? Repetition definitely is the mother of skill. West Palm Beach, Florida. What's up, David? This is definitely original. So all these songs that you hear me creating here on in the mornings, like on Tuesday mornings, all the songs you hear me creating are definitely original, and most of the songs are for the backing tracks. Some of the songs I use later, but they're definitely protected. They are my original material, so don't get no ideas. So just to put that disclaimer out there, because I know how people are. I have heard some of my work coming back to me on other people's projects before, so yeah, y'all be careful about that. Don't do that. So anywho, but yeah, this is original ideas. I do this to bring you in the creative process. This is another part of hopefully motivating and inspiring and encouraging you to create, because you get to see behind the scenes what's going on, how I'm coming up with stuff. And this is, to me, what I do here in the Tuesday mornings, because it's so short. It's a very watered down version of how I really create and really produce, but you do get to see part of the process behind the scenes, because when I really dig in, I'm like, we're really going there, but right now it's, really fast trying to put a track together. So very watered down version of something. Yeah, but hopefully I've answered those questions. Let's go back and make sure I didn't miss anything. All right, Cape Town. What's up, Raymond? Floppy says uplifting and positive tone. Tanya says, taking it all in. Love to watch the magic unfold. Thank you. Let's see here. Good morning to you. I was watching some of your older videos. On the one you went, you said I went beast mode. Appreciate that, Andrew. I noticed you seldom use your 6-string Warrior on Tuesday Groove mode. I don't have that Warrior anymore. Yeah, I got rid of that Warrior at the top of the year. Yeah, I got rid of the 6-string. Actually, I don't have a 6-string right now, but there is one in the making. That's all I can say. I can't tell you anymore. I can't tell you who it's by, none of that stuff. So I will say there is one in the making, but you're going to have to be patient. Be patient with me. So there's another 6-string on the way. And if somebody just feeling led, you want to send me a 6-string, I will receive it happily. Just hit me up and get my mailing address from me. So, but no, it's one in the making. Let's see here. I think I got everybody. Russia is in the building. Elijah, what's going on, man? I've been playing for a long time. I've been playing, a long time. I will leave it there. Over 18 years. We'll say that. Got work. Melvin, thank you for stopping by, man. I appreciate it. Robert, thank you, sir. Truly inspiring stuff, sir. Would never consider pinching the tunes. Uh, Man, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, so let's see what else we can add real quick before we get too far gone. It's pretty full, but do I want to add some guitar to it? Does it need any guitar? I don't know. Let's see. So, I might just add that later. For now, I can get away without guitar. Think of what it is. I don't want to drag it out. If I decide to go back and add guitar later, I'll do that. But right now, I'll leave it without. Let's just jam out to it a little bit. Let me plug my bass back up and let's have some fun to it. Get somewhat of a little mix happening here. Some bass happening. All right, so see what we got. Here we go. Some flubs in there, but it's all good. It's all in fun. Let me go back here. What's up, Steven? Okay, let me go back. I'm trying to go back and read y'all's comments. Raymond, thank you for checking in, man. I missed a whole bunch of stuff here. Would love to see you interview other musicians, bass players again after COVID. Oh, James, we'll see, man. I don't know. I moved, and here in Atlanta, I'm not in the same location. So right now, I'm a little far away from most guys, but that doesn't mean it won't happen. So we'll see how that goes. I guess if I get enough people requesting for those types of episodes again, we'll see how it goes. I got some plans for the future, and this COVID thing has to kind of chill out for a minute before we can get into any of that. But yeah, I appreciate that feedback. I'm glad that you were enjoying the interviews. Got to work again. Okay, Raymond, I think I said something to you earlier, but if I didn't, thank you, sir. Got to get back to work. Catch you again. All right, everybody got to get back to work this morning. Do you use the keys for key bass, or do you perform as keyboardist as well? I've done both. I used to play keys for churches when I was growing up. Or when I was much younger as a musician, I would play keys for churches. So I've done both. I've used key bass in services as well. I don't do a lot of key bass. I just never really got into it like that. I can play it, but I never really got into it. It's cool. I do it on records, but I don't do a lot of it out live. But yeah, I do it from time to time. Answer that question. Andrew said that 6 was nice. Yeah, it was. It was cool, man. It was cool. You did a melody with Aunt Parrish a while back. Was that your track? So how can I get a hold of it? Yes, that was my track. We were actually, I think the song, we were just grooving off a random groove, but the backing track that we were using, the actual drum beat, was from my record, if I'm not mistaken. Grooves and Ideas is the last track on the record, Going Forward. That was the actual song that we were, like, the groove was from that song, Going Forward, from my album Grooves and Ideas. You can look that up on iTunes, so that's how you can find that. When you hear a melody like this, what are you thinking about when approaching the bass? Just following what's there. I talk about that a lot. Just kind of following the blueprint that's already laid out. You don't really have to try to reinvent the wheel. The melody is very simple in that. I told you, if you were here at the beginning, as we started creating, no problem, Robert, as we started creating that track, you know that the melody, like, it's the whole scale of the song. It's literally following the scale. Just the way the chords are being played makes it feel like it's something different. But that's literally the C sharp major or the D flat major scale, however you want to think of it. And that's literally, so I take melodies from that scale and just kind of play around with it. And really a lot of major pentatonic stuff, and I can like arpeggiate different chords. So when we play that, like I can like do an arpeggio over the 4 at F sharp, like just a regular arpeggio over that. So like you'll see how that works in context. Let me do it real quick. major 7 or 9. But come out of it with like a major pentatonic descending. C major pentatonic descending. It's not C major, C sharp major pentatonic. So I'll go with basically the 4, a major 7 or a 9 with added 9. And we can come back down. This is just a really, really simple approach of looking at it. Over that whole thing, and it'll work. So we can get away with all of that. Simple. You can stretch out farther than that, but that's using really, really simple concepts and building from stuff that's simple and following the melody and like really, really playing off of that major 7. It's still a 9 in the key of C sharp. Like it will be like that E flat minor 9. Think of it that way. So that's another way of approaching it, or you can just think of it as a 4 altogether. So it's tons of ways that you can kind of navigate around it. So hopefully I answered that question. I know I said a whole bunch of stuff, but hopefully you took something away from it. Let's see. Can you possibly do us a groove with some South African flavor sometimes? I can try. I got to study my South African stuff. I want to make sure that it's close enough to what you guys do. So send me some examples of some things that you're referring to, because I'm over here in the Americas, and I want to make sure it's close to authentic as possible in terms of what you're looking for. We'll look into that as well. So the title today was Give It Everything You Got. I know that's not correct English, but hey, it's all good. That's how I want to say it. Give it everything you got. One of the things I've been working on or thinking about lately, as it relates to creating music, creating and writing music and even playing, is that, you want to make sure that you're putting everything you have out there. I follow this guy, Eric Thomas. He's a speaker and preacher. They call him E.T. the hip hop preacher. A lot of you guys might follow him. You might know who he is. But he put up something on Instagram that was really, really interesting to me yesterday. He's like, you have these people that complain, talking about, man, I'm getting up early in the morning, I'm putting in 1 to 2 hours of this and that, working out, really working hard on my craft or whatever the case may be. And he said, well, you're putting in 1 to 2 hours, but what you're going for might require 3.5 hours from you. So now the question becomes, are you willing to put in that extra time to get the result that you're actually wanting? And most people are not, unfortunately. It's a beautiful sir, solid plan. I have to rewatch this. It's really helpful, bro. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But that's the thing. Most people aren't willing to put out that extra effort to get those results that they're looking for. So most of the time, people end up frustrated because they're not seeing the results. And when you really look at it and look back at your work, all that you've done as it relates to what you've put out, what you've created, I can honestly say that about some of my stuff that I've put out. At the time, I thought I was giving it my all, but after maturing in certain areas, I realized that in some of these situations, I was depending on some other people. There was a question earlier that came through, and somebody asked me, did I bring in other musicians to play on my music, or am I normally recording it all myself? Generally, like I said, when I answer that question, generally I'm bringing in other musicians. I'm hiring, like as a producer, I'm either hiring musicians, or we're doing what the musicians do. We're doing favors or whatever. You play on my record, I play on your record, that kind of thing. So you scratch my back, I scratch yours. That happens a lot in the music world. So with that being said, a lot of times, or I'm not gonna say a lot of times, there were times that I would create stuff, and because I knew who was going to be playing on it, I would do the bare minimum. I would give them the idea of how I wanted the song to go, and in my mind, I'm leaving room for their interpretation. But looking back in hindsight, a lot of those moments, I know I didn't dig in completely on what I could have gave them in terms of the production of the song, or in terms of the ideas that I have in my head. I didn't dig in completely because I was leaning on what they would do instead of trusting my gut and going completely as hard as I could with everything that I'm hearing in my head. And there's a term that came to me on yesterday. I call it an epiphany. And what that is, I'm gonna share it with you guys. Make it so good, and I'm gonna back up, I'm gonna reverse it. I'm gonna put this in the context first. There's some of you guys who've been like me, and you've been looking for people to help you with certain things, and it seems like you just can't find those people to get on board of what you're trying to do, or you have these ideas of something that you're trying to put together, and you can't find the right people, and all of this kind of stuff. So you keep running into these roadblocks because you can't necessarily find the people or the resources or whatever you're looking for. And I have a solution for it. I don't know who these people are, but the epiphany that I got yesterday, and I'm gonna pass it to you because it's not for me to keep. It would be a great secret that I could keep to myself, but I can't do that. Make it so good that they beg to be a part of it. And you know me, it's not in a way that, oh, you're going to be begging for this. No, I don't mean it like that. I mean, put everything, every ounce of creativity, every ounce of energy, like everything that you could possibly put into it yourself, do it. Go with it. Go with everything you can possibly think of. If it comes to music, like, go 100%. To your craft is like, it's going through the roof in terms of your creativity, your growth as a musician. If you are a bass player, like, think about it. You push yourself to the max as a bass player. You might not see the results right away, but what happens when like a young player, you see them coming up, you see them like 3 years back and they was like doing okay, but they were really, really hungry and they worked really hard. And the next thing you know, you're seeing them on everybody's stuff. It's a principle. Once you push yourself to the max, once you push that thing you do to the max, you make it so good that everybody else wants a piece of it. They want to be a part of it. It's just like the next hot song or the biggest trend that's going on. It's so good or it's so popular that everybody wants a piece of it. Or at least the people who are associated with that particular thing want a piece of it. They want to be associated with it in some form or fashion. If your thing is creating music, and you don't have enough people on board to help you with what you're trying to do or that kind of thing, just put everything you have. I mean, every idea you can come up with. If you got to sit there and you don't really play keys and you got to play it note for note and push everything, like if it take you 3 hours to come up with the keyboard part, spend 3 hours coming up with the keyboard part. Literally, take your time and create the absolute best you can create when it comes to music or any area. I'm not going to dumb this down to just music, but in any area, take your time and create the absolute best that you can create. And in doing so, you will demand attention from other people who will start now asking to be a part of what you were doing. I'll give you guys a quick story. When I was building my YouTube channel back in the early days, and most of you who've been following me for a while, you know what I'm talking about. When I started doing the Jermaine Morgan TV thing, it was just an idea. When I started doing Jermaine Morgan TV, at that time I had probably like, a couple of thousand subscribers, maybe. And I started doing, I had 1,900. I remember, it was like 1,946. Yeah, I remember the numbers. It was like 1,946 subscribers is what I had when I started doing Jermaine Morgan TV. And it was just an idea. But as I started doing it, it started to grow and grow and grow. And I started putting more into it. I started working on me, improving myself, improving my camera presence, all of that kind of stuff, trying to work on being good. And I'm being really honest and transparent with you guys for a reason. But I started working on me a lot. So if you can, and it's no shame for me, you can go back to my earlier videos and you can see it's not the same energy. It's not the same anything. It's not the same. When you go all the way back to the beginning of my videos, it's a completely same guy, just a different, I'm not going to even say a different personality. It's just a different presence that's given off on camera. Because it's been the same person the whole time. It's just, the camera can be really intimidating if you're not used to it. So I have to really work on becoming better in front of the camera in terms of presenting what I was doing. So the whole Jermaine Morgan TV thing, I started putting more and more into it. And then it got to the point where I started doing the interviews and I started inviting people. Don't you know, because of what I was creating and because it was becoming popular, I started getting requests from musicians from everywhere that were asking to be on the show. As if it was like a real, granted it was a real show, and it's still a real show, but people were asking to be on it almost like they got a spot on BET or on Fox or something like that. I'm like, you do know this is YouTube, right? And I guess at the time, for me, I didn't realize the impact that it was having around the world because I couldn't see what everybody else was seeing. I was only seeing from my own perspective. All I knew was I was just trying to make it better. Every time I was trying to make it better. I worked on intros and worked on, creating this whole theme song and all this kind of stuff. And because of what I put out, I made it at the time because, stuff is grown. YouTube is grown now. But at the time, it was becoming so good that other people were asking to be a part of it. So it got to the point where I wasn't really asking people to do the interviews. There were certain people that I admired that I wanted to be on it, but most of the people that I reached out to were excited to be a part of it because they saw what was happening. And that's my point to you. When you give it all you got, when you put your best foot forward, it's gonna matter. The proof will be in the pudding. When you put your best foot forward, people will see the effort. They will see what's happening. They will see what's being built. And people will want to be a part of something good. Everybody wants to be a part of something that's trendy or something that's the happening thing at the moment. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to be a part of it. Mostly everybody. I know I got to be careful how I say that. But you know what I mean. When you create something that's really good, it creates a demand. It creates attention. And most people like attention, hence selfies. So that's the whole thing. People want to be a part of something good. It's hard to get people to jump on the bandwagon when you're trying to push it up out of the mud or when you're trying to get it started. But once it starts to moving and people can see momentum behind it, they can see you gaining traction. Now everybody want to do what? They want to jump on the bandwagon. So I encourage you, while you're in these building stages, wherever you find yourself at, however this message is hitting you, I don't know where it found you, but wherever you find yourself at on your journey, kick it up a notch. As a matter of fact, some of y'all need to kick it up like 3, 4 notches. Kick it up a notch. Wherever you're finding yourself on your journey. The reason why people are probably not being attracted to you is because you're not giving your all. You're not telling people that, but they can sense it. And so because they can sense it, they're kind of looking over you. But when you start really digging in and start really, really maximizing your full potential, you attract people because that's attractive. That's success. What you're giving off in terms of what you're doing, it attracts the right people to you, and they want to be connected. Sometimes it can attract the wrong people to you as well. You just have to use your filter to know, or your discernment to know, okay, I don't need to fool with these people. But you know what I'm saying? This might be a person that I might need to take a chance on. So the people you're looking for, you'll begin to attract them as you work on perfecting yourself. We should always be working. Les Brown has a saying, you should always be working to better your best. So what you thought was your best yesterday, you should be working to improve that today. So go back and take a listen again. When I talk about to my students, when I talk about to my students, record yourself, and I talked about this even on last week. Record yourself, and then go back and listen to it like a month from now, or 2 months, or 3 months, or even a year from now, if you dare. And listen to the progress that you made from last year to this year, or from last month to this month. It doesn't look like it, but you're making a lot of progress. Because anytime you're going that hard, what happens, and I'll use it this way. For me, the harder, and I've been in music for a long time. But the thing that I'm finding about myself, the more I grow, the more my ears grow, and the more it's harder for me to unhear certain things. It's like my ears are becoming more and more fine-tuned to details, like really fine-tuned to details. So it's like I hear everything now and I can't cut it off. That's cool though. I've worked for that. But all the while it was happening, I didn't notice it. But now you get to this point and you're just like, man, I hear that. I understand what they're playing, or I understand this. And it was like players that I would listen to that we'd be playing a lot of fast stuff and I couldn't make it out. And now I hear it and it makes sense to me now. So as you grow, your ears also grow with you. All the stuff that you're doing here, practicing all these lessons and all the stuff that you're listening, the more you immerse yourself in this stuff, the more your ears start to adjust to it and you start hearing it. You start picking it out. Some of y'all can do it already. Before you picked up the instrument, you could hear a whole bunch of stuff. Now what you have to do is work on connecting your ears, your head, and your hands, putting it all together. And that starts with you slowing it down. Slowing it down so your hands can have time to catch up with what you're hearing and what you're thinking. Slow it down, put it to a metronome, make it part of your muscle memory. And as I talked about earlier, as I was creating this track, repetition, doing it over and over and over and over again, add it to your muscle memory. Now it becomes second nature to you. Now it's not a struggle when you sit down to do stuff. When I'm sitting down and I'm trying to create, the more I do it, the better I get at it. The more I pick up my guitar, the more I pick up the bass, the more I sit down and play drums and come up with ideas. It doesn't matter if I don't sound great. The idea is to work the muscle. The idea is to work the creativity and to always be working to better my best. Because here's the thing. I'll use me. I might not ever be a Dennis Chambers on drums. But the better I become on drums, the better my bass playing becomes. I know some of y'all scratching your head. What you mean the better your bass playing becomes? Because the more aware I become, the more I try on piano. If some of you guys are on the fence thinking about learning to play the piano, you're just playing the bass, or you're just playing one instrument, and you're on the fence about learning to play the piano, learn to play it. Start figuring it out. Even if you don't become a maestro, even if you don't even get to the point where you can hold down a service or a gig, it doesn't matter. Because the more you learn here, it opens up stuff here. Key example. Most of you guys know I was a guitar player. I'm still a guitar player, but that was like my primary instrument for a long time. And I noticed there were a lot of limitations in my guitar playing. But as I started to grow on bass, my guitar playing improved. Not because I was practicing more on guitar, but because my ears begin to open and my awareness begin to open up. And so now when I understand chord substitutions on bass, it started opening up my playing for guitar, and I started hearing stuff a different way. It was like, oh wow, I never thought about it, because what happens is almost like relationships. Being culture, being multicultural. When you start dabbling in other cultures and start, I don't mean doing crazy stuff, so let's be clear. But when you start being exposed, I'll say it this way, when you start being exposed to other cultures, if you've been used to staying, in a very rural area all your life you've been living in, backwoods, and that's all you know. Well, if you go live in the city for a year, you start to get cultured to city life. If you go live somewhere else, you start kind of getting cultured in the suburbs or whatever. Learning how people do things in these different areas, now you start to get more cultured. And what happens is you start to develop a sensitivity to how other people do things. And now you don't judge it as hard. And so you have more empathy for what other people deal with, because you have a little bit more perspective into their world versus just looking at everything from your own perspective all the time. The more I can immerse myself in the way that other people do stuff, that doesn't mean I have to do stuff the way that they do it, but the more I can understand their point of view. And when I can understand somebody else's point of view, it helps me to be less selfish. When it comes to me as a musician, when I understand the drummer's point of view, it helps me to be less selfish as a bass player, because as I've been playing drums, I know I have a tendency, I want to do this here, or this is where I want to take a feel. So if this is the natural feeling of a drummer to want to fill up a space here or to set the song up, well, I know not to step on his toes. If I know the guitar player normally kind of likes to take this particular role, if he's playing rhythm, or if he's playing lead guitar, he takes this role, then it lets me know where I need to sit as the bass player. And if I know on this song, this is kind of how the piano player likes to stay, and this is, in this type of music, this is how the piano player likes to move, it gives me really good context as to what I can play and what I need to stay away from. So the more I can become cultured in not only music, but several genres of music, like different genres of music, and even the way people interact. That's why I was saying earlier about my guy that asked me to do something that's more South African. I have to know a little bit more about the culture. I'm not saying that I can't create anything, but I would like to know more about the culture. That way I can do something that you can actually appreciate, instead of putting out something that's like, it's kind of there. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather do something that you can appreciate, because I have a reference point of culture. And so it all comes from exposing yourself if you have the opportunity. So, all that being said, you need to go harder. You need to go harder. If it's something you're trying to learn, Google it. If you can't find it here on YouTube, Google it. There's so much information out there that we don't know about. And a lot of times, my brother has a saying, I don't know if he's watching this morning, he has a saying that you're one person away from that thing you're needing. You're probably one person away from that job, or, long story short, a closed mouth don't get fed. If you don't ask for something, you probably won't get it. It's that simple. Most of the time, some of you guys don't get to the thing that you're trying to get to because you won't ask. I'm guilty. I'm not just pointing my finger at you. I'm guilty of it as well. I have a problem sometimes with asking people, because that whole, I'm a do-it-yourselfer. So that nature of asking people, sometimes I find it difficult for me. That's what comes with having a lot of talents and just being a person, being a really productive person. You learn to kind of depend on you, and that can be a problem at times. It's good that you can do that, but you have to learn how to spread it out and ask other people. It doesn't make you weak to ask somebody else for help, or ask somebody else to give you a hand, or to be a part of what you're doing. Some people are just waiting for you to ask them. But if you're waiting for people to come to you, that's probably not going to happen. So do your best. Give 150%, 120%, or whatever that you're trying to do. 80% ain't cutting it. What you're going for requires you to go over 100%. So you got to go over that consistently. Make that part of your muscle memory, because excellence attract excellence. When they see you're being excellent, they want to be a part of something that's excellent. But when they're seeing you being good, mediocre, it's like, that's cool. Like, yeah, you keep going. Yeah. But when it's excellent, everybody wants to be a part of it. I want to be a part of something that's great. You know what I'm saying? Name brand, Jordan. People buy Jordan simply because Jordan operated in excellence on a consistent basis. So that's why now, even after years of retiring, people are still buying his shoes because he operated in excellence for so long. All right, let me read a few of these comments here. All right, y'all be talking, but I be missing all kind of stuff, but it's cool though. I like it. Beautiful, sir. Solid plan. Okay, I think I read that already. I'm trying to go back. Where was I at? That's a great mindset to have. Love it. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Quest, yes, sir. Go for it. Have effort. That's good. We're gonna have to take. He said we're gonna have to take an offering. All right, so my man Charles hit me with a quote. He says, makes me think about Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. If you're a street sweeper, yes, sir. I use that quote in my book, man. Absolutely. Yeah. If you're street sweepers, sweep streets like Michelangelo would paint. Yep. Absolutely. So basically, whatever you do it to the best of your ability. Anything less than that is giving God, like, not your full self. It says, which there's a verse that I love in the Bible. It says, do everything as if we're doing it unto God. Like, if I was going to present, even if you don't believe in God and you're watching me, just indulge me real quick. If you had an opportunity to play your instrument to the one that created you, that created all of this stuff, you had one shot. And that was going to determine whether you lived or died. We ain't even talking about heaven and hell right now, but how you played determine if you're going to stay alive or if you're going to die. If you suck, you're going to die. But if you play good to the best of your ability, not the best of Jermaine's ability, but to the best of your ability, if you suck, you're going to die. If you kill it, you sweet. How would you approach it? Here's the thing. You had 6 months to prepare. You knew it's coming up and you had 6 months to prepare. How would you prepare? How would you prepare? How would you prepare? If you knew everything was riding on this performance, how you perform, if everything was riding on this performance, how would you prepare? Let's take it from being so deep. All right? You get to play the biggest gig of your life. Carnegie Hall, whatever that gig would be for you. You got 3 months to prepare. How would you prepare to get ready for this gig that you have to play? What would you do? What would you do differently? What would you turn off? Whose phone calls would you ignore? You know what I'm saying? What time would you start getting up in the morning? You still got the same job. Nothing about your life gets to change. But one thing you know for sure, you're going to get to perform with whatever artist you admire the most. You fill in the blank. You're going to get to perform for this person. And so all of a sudden, you start to make some changes because you want to give it your best. You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure that you nail this performance or whatever it is, or this gig, because you want to get called back. What are you going to do differently? So that's some stuff to think about. Now, take all of that off the table, because now you don't need that. Why wouldn't you do that anyway if your goal is to be better and your goal is to better your best? Why wouldn't you give 150% anyway? I think it's because the goals aren't big enough. The dreams aren't big enough. Some of us, where we're trying to get to is right here. And that's trying to grab that low-hanging fruit so it's not pushing you. Your goal, your dream needs to be a little bigger. It needs to scare you. Whatever you're going for, it needs to scare you. And so when it starts to scare you, you'll begin to give a higher level of effort because you know it's something that, man, it's going to take a lot more out of me. But when you feel like, oh man, all I gotta do is learn these songs for church for next week, you're not gonna put in as much effort. But when you feel like if somebody told you some big artist was coming into your church this particular week and you got to play for this artist, all of a sudden these songs you was learning for church, it take on a new meaning to you. Now you start digging in a little harder. Like, wait a minute, what happened? You weren't doing that last week and last month. You just kind of learn them and but now I tell you Fred Hammond or somebody's coming here and now you shedding all week. What's the difference? We have to develop the mindset that says, I'm going to be excellent for the sake of being excellent. Be excellent for the sake of being excellent. I don't have to have a why in terms of this is my motivation, that's my motivation. Let's be excellent for the sake of being excellent because you're chasing that excellent version of yourself that you have not seen yet. So we're chasing that dude. That's the version of Jermaine I'm chasing. The one I'm hearing that's playing all this music in my head. The dude that I see doing all this other stuff. The one that's in my, my goals, dreams, my reality list. That's the dude I'm chasing. That's the version that I'm chasing. Not this person, not that person. I'm chasing the one that when I heard somebody play something, I'm like, I think I can do that. I'm chasing that dude. That's who I'm chasing. And I'm challenging you to chase that person. Whoever that is, your higher version of who you are. Chase that person and give it all you got. Give it all you got. Let's read through some more of these comments. I'm going to jump off here in a second. All right. Okay. Build a foundation. Some phrases and scales I'm able to play comfortably with my eyes closed, but no, not at the speed the other bass players do. Is every bass player built for speed? It depends on how fast we're talking. Some people are faster than others. Some people had longer to work on it. I think it matters. I can't say all bass players are not built for speed, but there are a lot of basketball players. I'll put it this way: there are about a lot of basketball players in the league that are very good, but there's only one LeBron James. And before anybody try to tear me up in the comments, I am not a basketball fan. I could care less. I am not a sports fan. I could care less. So if you try to come for me, it doesn't even matter. I'm like, I don't care. I just know LeBron is like at the top of the league right now. I do know that. I do watch highlights every now and again. But as far as having a team and having a favorite player, I could care less. I know Jordan. I know Kobe. I know LeBron. I know a few other players. I know Steph. But I don't keep up. But LeBron is in a league on its own. Everybody is not gifted with the same abilities. I don't think I'm as fast as some players that I've heard. There's some amazing players out there. I got some friends that are some amazing players. Justin Rain is an amazing player. Alan Snoop Evans is an amazing player. K-Bass is an amazing player. Derek Bennett is an amazing player. These are all amazing bass players, and we all have different stuff. Some of these cats are super fast. Hadrian Farad is like speed demon on bass. Bubby Lewis, oh my goodness, like just ridiculous speed. Some of that stuff I hear him doing is like, okay, all right, I have no ambition to be that fast. It's like, but it's sweet to hear him do it. Some people are gifted with, higher levels of giftings than other people have. It doesn't mean it can't be attained, but you're going to have to work a whole lot harder because some people, it seems like it comes natural. To answer your question, some things come natural to other people than they do others. Like to some people than they do others. And you can be working and you can be putting in the time. It doesn't mean you can't get really fast. Will you be as fast as this person or that person? Probably not. I can't say. I don't know what you have in you. I said a few weeks ago, I didn't think I would be able to play as well as I was 10 years ago. I didn't think I would be at this level. I knew I had ambitions to try to grow and to get better, but only you can answer that because we don't know what potential we possess inside of us. I do know other people, again, have higher levels of giftings, meaning they can naturally do it, but that doesn't mean it can't be learned if you're willing to put in the time. And, I know sometimes age might play a factor into it, that kind of thing. It it's a lot of factors. So I don't want to say yay or nay because honestly, my honest answer is I don't know. I honestly don't know. And that's the best. That's the best I can say about that. All I would say is just give 120%, 150%, and just see where you go. See where it lands you, because you might find a sweet spot in your speed. It's like, oh, I'm good with this speed right here. It's not as fast as Jocko or this person right here, but I'm really good with this speed. And if I can get all of my vocabulary up to this particular speed, sweet. It can be attained, but I can't tell you what's the max or if every player has it. I don't know. I know if you're willing to put in the work, anything is possible. I do know that. So we'll leave it there. All right, let's go. Let's keep going. I'm trying to get through these comments. I'm trying to read everybody's comment before I jump off. That's so true. Playing drums definitely helps rhythmically and vice versa with the bass. When they both lock in, it takes everyone else in the band's playing to another level. Absolutely, man. When they lock in, I mean, when the bass and the drums lock, it does something else for the whole situation. So I don't have to add anything to that. Y'all already know that. Quest says Jermaine was put here on this planet for a reason, and he is fulfilling it 100. Be about your business too, man. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. The best leaders are also great followers, for sure. Absolutely. Tiffany Allen and Michael Jordan is one of my faves. When he started out in his career, he wasn't immediately known as the best. Instead, he had a reputation with his peers for getting better and better each season. Absolutely. And that's where you want to be. I love that. I love the underdog story. I think everybody loves the underdog story. And no shade to anybody who has it naturally. And I think I have this really, really interesting situation right now. And God is allowing me to see it, and I'm thankful for it. My daughter basically is a child prodigy. And she was born with, I talked about this many times. She was born with the gift of hearing music. She has perfect pitch. She has the whole hearing music in colors, the synesthesia, all of that. And she naturally hears it. She naturally hears it. But I'm seeing that even in her having all these giftings, and this kind of helps me level the playing field for you guys that think that the people who have natural talent don't have to work as hard as everybody else. They do. Just to level the playing field, I'm looking at my daughter, and she's 8 years old. I'm watching her grow. Now, are things coming a little more natural to her than for the average person? Absolutely. She does have an advantage. I'm not taking anything away from that. Even myself, I know I have an advantage over the average person because my ears ain't like the average person. I hear stuff that the average musician doesn't hear, and I understand it. But my daughter got an extra dosage of it. So she's hearing all this other stuff, but I'm seeing her have to work through this stuff and having the same frustrations and having the same letdown. She went upstairs last night. Her room is upstairs. She has a little keyboard in her room. I had her out here with me. I was creating music yesterday, and I had her out here, and she was seeing my creative process and watching everything and taking it all in. So when we went back over to the house, she went upstairs and she went to practicing, and she wanted me to hear something. So I came and listened. I didn't go in the room. I just stood at the bottom of the stairs and listened while she was playing. And as I was listening, I guess she made some mistakes. And so when she came down, her whole demeanor, just boo-hooing and everything. And my wife was like, "What's wrong with you? I wanted to play this for Daddy and I messed up." And having a breakdown because it wasn't coming out how she heard it in her mind. So her with all that gifting and all that ability and all this natural talent, still struggling to put together what she heard in her mind. So nobody gets all that to make a point. Nobody gets a little pat on the back. "Oh, just go ahead. You're good enough." Everybody has to work. There's no secret. We all have to do the work. Some people have a little bit more of it than others. Nonetheless, they still have to put in the work. My daughter's still having to put in the work. People that I grew up with that, were just great musicians, they still have to put in the work. Being good or having an extra dosage doesn't substitute for putting in the time. You still have to put in the time, no matter who you are, no matter how long you've been at this thing. You're gonna have to put in the time. So, you know, I hope I'm helping some of you guys to know that, or help you get rid of your excuses. That's really what I want to help you do. To get rid of your excuses, because some of y'all think you've been dealt a bad hand, and if I had done this and if I had done that, yeah, but you didn't. So that's that. We got to move on. We got to get over that. It's kind of like me and my wife got this little running joke. You want me to play my little violin behind you while you talk about all the things you didn't have or what didn't work out? Because we all got a sad story. We all have something. The thing we have to work on is getting rid of the excuses, and at this point, play that hand you've been dealt. Play it with everything you got. Give it everything. I know that's bad English. I don't care. Give it everything you got. I'm talking about every ounce, every drop, everything you got in you for the time that you have left, because we don't know how long you have left. You don't, I don't. So why not, for the little bit of time you have left, instead of complaining about everything that happened to you when you were young, you know what I'm saying? Everything that you weren't exposed to, the fact that even now you're not in a musical city, even now you don't have the bass or the guitar or the instruments that you would like to have. What do you have in your hand? Moses, what do you have in your hand? I ain't got nothing but this little stick. That's good enough. I can use that. I can use that. I can use that. I can do some miracles with that. If you take the little bit that you have in your hand and maximize the potential of the little bit that you have, then more will be given to you. You don't get more of what you want. You get more of what you manage. Somebody remember that. You don't get more of what you want. You get more of what you can manage. So if you can manage that little piece of base that you got and do your best on that, and if you start really working to build what you have, especially with social media nowadays, some of you guys have seen me do the demos of these basses back here. It's like you get to the point when you start really working your stuff and really perfecting your stuff, people send you stuff. I got pedals and all kinds of stuff over here that people have just sent me simply because I worked and I keep going on with work on my craft and worked on what it is I do. Not because I'm the best in the world, but because I worked and I put effort behind it. And I kept growing even when I wanted to quit. And because of that, you attract those things you want. You attract it to you. You attract it because I'm managing what I have. I'm managing what I have to the best of my ability. And I'm always working to better my best. All right? I'm going to get these last few comments. What you put out is what you're going to get back. Absolutely. Omar, Dominican Republic, I see you. Great words of wisdom and inspiration, Mr. Martin. You have truly helped me focus on being the best me with my bass playing and set attainable goals that keep me hungry for improvement. I couldn't have said it better. That's good. Andrew says, Jermaine, you said I'm age 43 is a factor for speed. Let me read that again. I don't think I understand what you're saying. You said age. Okay, I got you saying. You said age. I'm 43. Is that a factor for speed? You can still get it, man. There are people who started what we consider late, but they put the time in, and they put the effort, and they put the energy. Anything, the word, if you don't take anything else from today, take my song. I got a song. I'm playing, but I'm serious. I want everybody to go grab this song. I got a song I wrote called Daydreaming. Daydreaming, there's a message in the song at the end of the song that says, I'm just saying it over and over again, don't give up on your dreams because it's possible. And it's a true statement. There's a quote from Les Brown at the beginning and the ending of the song that just kind of confirms everything that I'm talking about in the song. And the reason why I want you to play it, because I want you to get that in your subconscious. I want you to keep playing it over and over and over and over again till that gets stuck in your mind that it's possible. It's possible. So to answer your question, it's possible. It's possible. You can find that on all digital platforms. Daydreaming, Jermaine Morgan, the Jermaine Morgan Band. Yes, sir. All right. So Omar said we must learn how to deal with the excuses. Indeed, absolutely. How often does this happen? Like you going to live, the last message was pretty vague. Like you going live, the last message was pretty vague. Okay, you talking about me going live? I'm live every week. I'm live every Tuesday morning at 7:30 a.m. EST. And as I wrap this up, if you're new to me, you're new to this live for whatever reason, you stumbled across my channel. First of all, thank you for being here. I'm Jermaine Morgan. If you don't know who I am by this time, I am Jermaine Morgan, and this is Grooves and Motivations. Motivation. I am not talking worth anything this morning. This is Grooves and Motivation Live, and I'm here every Tuesday. I'm always posting content. This backing track will probably show up this week. The track we were playing earlier will probably show up this week for you guys to be able to practice on. So be sure to revisit my channel. Turn on the notifications if you haven't done that. And I see some thumbs up for this video. Please go ahead and give this a thumb up as well if you've enjoyed the content so far. I've got a couple of little things, some housekeeping I want to do. I want to let you guys know about this book that I wrote. If you're new to my channel, please go grab this book. It's called 10 Ways to Success, The Working Musician. It's available on Amazon. You can look up Jermaine Morgan, 10 Ways to Success. Or you can go to my website, JermaineMorgan.net. JermaineMorgan.net. Not .com, not .org, but .net. JermaineMorgan.net. You can find everything about me there, including courses. I have membership courses. If you're trying to learn more, you're trying to grow, you're trying to better your best, but you don't know where to go. I have courses, I have lessons available. I do one-on-one lessons as well. You can find all that on the site. If you go to my site and check out my courses, you can check out membership course options, and you can see all the options that I have available there. I have the one-on-one coaching calls, base coaching calls. We can do those calls if you want more one-on-one time instead of just only doing the lessons. We have that available in packages on the membership lessons as well. So there's a lot of things there on the site. If you have never been to the site before, be sure to go there. You can also find that book and tons of other backing tracks on the site and other merchandise. Some of my albums, or all of my albums that I put out, you can find them there on the site. So anything about me you want to know, just go and just binge the site for a minute, and you'll find everything you're trying to know about me. What I do, the speaking, the producing, even samples. I have samples packs of some of my guitar stuff that I've put out in, I've recorded the samples, so you can drop those samples in your own productions. It's like, I think I have a soul samples pack, so some good old funky stuff, some gospel quartet-ish type stuff, D'Angelo-ish, James Brown-ish type feeling stuff. So if you want to go find any of that stuff, head over to the website now. There's plenty of stuff there. And be sure to subscribe to my website. It's not necessarily subscribe, but join my mailing list, because I'm constantly rolling out new things there. And in the monthly membership, I'm putting up a new lesson every single week. Lately, I've been talking about, in my monthly membership lessons, I've been talking about transcribing. We've been doing a series on transcribing. My most recent lesson, I showed this exercise in terms of using arpeggios and all that stuff. So anyway, all that, not to go on and on, there's a lot of stuff available there, and I invite you to become one of my monthly members if you haven't done that already. But I appreciate you all for hanging out with me and watching me create, listen to me talk. I pray and hope that I've given you something that's encouraging, inspiring, and motivating to you, to get you going and to get you to give it all you got. To get you to give it all you got. Remember, the better, your best, and do all you can. By doing that, you will attract what you're looking for to you instead of trying to run after something. You'll start attracting it to you. I'm working on it. I don't get on here and talk about anything that I'm not trying to do myself. So I want you guys to know that in the stuff that I'm sharing on these lives are things that I either had to work through in my life or that I'm constantly working through in my life to better my own best, because I want to be better. I want to grow. I want to see you grow. So why not we grow together? All right. Sorry for the bad English. Y'all will be all right. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day. I'm out. Peace.